Physical Science 8.3, Renewable Energy Resources. What are renewable energy resources again? And what are some methods for converting different types of renewable resources into electrical energy? The demand for energy, as we've been discussing, is increasing every day tenfold as Earth's population increases and our demands for how we want to use our electricity, right? So, our supply of non-renewable energy resources is decreasing by the day. The use of nuclear energy produces high-level waste that has to be disposed of safely, and as a result, alternative energy sources are being developed to meet increasing energy demands. Some alternative energy sources are renewable resources. A renewable resource is an energy source that is replaced by natural processes faster than humans can consume the resource. Photovoltaic cells convert radiant energy into electrical energy. Some vehicles have optional photovoltaic panels made of solar cells that use to cool the car without the use of the engine. So you all have seen solar panels. Well, that's what that is. The use of fossil fuels would be greatly reduced if cars could run on alternative energy resources alone. For example, cars have been developed that use electrical energy supplied by batteries as their primary power source. Hybrid cars use electric motors and gasoline engines. Soybean oil and recycled cooking oils can be used as alternative fuels for transportation as well. One of the newer alternatives that we are seeing is something called geothermal power. It's powered by Earth. You have magma here. We discussed that at the beginning of the year, how hot it is. You have fissures in the layers, fractures in the rock, where the steam and the heat from the magma, and we bring it down here, okay? We put in a pipe, and we bring this heat up. It comes through, generates. Here you have your cooling tower, your condenser, just like in a nuclear power plant. It makes electricity, and then what's left over, we pump back down so that the cycle can continue. Think of convection currents in action and able to meet our supply and demand for energy.
Water is changed to steam by the hot rock. The steam is pumped to the surface where it turns a turbine attached to an electric generator. The water created by the condensed steam is pumped back into the ground.
At ground level, in their outsized elegance, they look like the components of some futuristic space complex. But they're the blades that will spin atop America's first offshore wind turbines. This demonstration project, a decade in the making, borrows renewable energy technology from land-based wind farms and takes them out to sea, in a patch of the Atlantic Ocean off tiny Block Island, Rhode Island. Jeff Grabowski is the CEO of the company behind the project, Deepwater Wind. First to start an industry in the U.S. that's already established and growing in Europe, where some 3,000 offshore turbines supply power for more than 7 million homes. In Denmark, for example, as NewsHour Weekend reported last year, offshore wind turbines combined with land-based turbines already provide 40% of the country's electricity and are turning toward a goal of 50% by 2020.
But just like anything, there's always going to be a negative side, and as scientists we have to prepare for that and find the best locations so that we don't endanger different species in order to save a single species.
A growing debate over wind farms. The giant turbines popping up across the country provide green energy, but can they also be deadly to wildlife? William Lajeunesse is live in California with that story. Hi, William.
Well, Rick, it's pitting global warming environmentalists against the bird lovers and wildlife conservationists. Why? Because wind farms are killing more than 1,000 birds a day. Protected or migratory species. Now, killing one is a violation of federal law, yet there's been zero enforcement while this industry explodes.
We would like to have no bird deaths and no bird injuries. But once again, we have to balance all the needs of society.
We need the energy, I don't deny that, but it doesn't have to be all overnight.
In fact, it does, because 33% of California's electricity must come from green power in the next 9 years. Yet its clean energy love affair comes with a dirty secret.
It's not inconceivable to me that we could reduce golden eagle populations by a great deal, if not wipe them out.
Experts say state and federal officials ignore the slaughter of thousands of protected birds in the booming wind energy business.
If you or I killed an eagle.
So we don't have to look at this whole thing to know that, hey, there's some things that we really need to look at. Being a scientist, being a politician, being someone who loves the environment, an environmentalist, there is never a clear-cut solution. There's always going to be a downside. Your job as a scientist, environmentalist, a citizen, a human, is to decide, does the need outweigh the negative? And that's what you have to ask yourself.